Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Fair Water Talks. We are thrilled to have you join us today for this important gathering dedicated to raising awareness, sharing solutions, and taking actions for a sustainable water future. Water connects us all, across cultures, borders, and generations. Let today be a ripple that leads to waves of change. We would like to acknowledge our partners for today's event. This event is sponsored by NutriAsia and co-presented by Maynilad. Special thanks to the Ayala Museum, Ayala Foundation, Asian Development Bank, and the University of Oxford. Please turn your attention to the screen in front for a few video presentations from our partners.
Sila ang mga dapatapon, basurang itinatapon natin dito at doon. Lagim na namumuo sa ating mga waterway. May dalawang klase ng basura na nagiging sanhi ng pagdumi ng ating waterways. Una ay ang solid waste tulad ng goma at plastic. Pero meron ding liquid waste o wastewater. Ito yung ginamit na tubig gaya ng pang-flush ng inidoro, panligo, at panghugas ng pinggan. Wastewater din ang maruruming likido na nanggagaling sa mga commercial at industrial establishment. Solid o liquid, kapag napunta sa ating mga katubigan, pareho silang lason na pumapatay sa ating mga yamang tubig gaya ng mga ilog at dagat at nagiging banta sa kalusugan ng komunidad. Huwag mag-alala, may pag-asa pang masagip ang ating mga katubigan. Ito ay sa pamamagitan ng solid waste segregation and recycling at sa responsible wastewater management. Sa pamamagitan ng world-class treatment facilities ng Maynilad, nakokolekta at nalilinis ng husto ang wastewater bago ito ibalik sa ating mga katubigan. Kaya, hindi ito nagdudulot ng polusyon. Kung mapapangalagaan natin ang ating mga waterway, pwede rin itong maging alternative water source para sa ating inuming tubig. Ito ang ginagawa ng Maynilad sa tulong ng mga makabagong teknolohiya at pasilidad na nakakapag-produce ng tubig na pasado sa Philippine National Standards for Drinking Water or PNSTW ng DOH. Pero syempre, ang pinakamabisa pa rin panlaban sa pagkasira ng ating waterways ay ang pagtupad ng ating tungkulin na protektahan ang ating mga katubigan. Kaya huwag magtapon kung saan-saan dahil ugaling patapon yan.
Thank you, Maynilad, for championing our cause and helping us bring the inspiring stories of our speakers to a greater audience through the Fair Water Talk series. To officially open today's Fair Water Talk, may we call on the President of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, Ms. Susan B. Afan.
Thank you, and good morning. Good morning, everybody. I know how difficult it is to wake up on a Saturday morning and for many of you drive or commute all the way to Makati. So we are so grateful for all of you showing up today. We have a greater purpose though. So as you can see, we have all these videographers that are here because our hope is that whatever we're doing this morning is actually going to be on YouTube and in the various social media links of Asian Development Bank that's represented today. Of course, our partners like NutriAsia and Maynilad, but at the same time also in the websites and social media of Ayala Foundation, Oxford University, and of course the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation. So we would like to make sure that everybody uses a microphone because we had our first talk last week and it was incredible. But of course, we had some audio problems because this is the first time we're doing this, and we were reminded to make sure that anybody that speaks has to use a microphone so that we are able to capture the questions and the answers. And let's make this as interactive as possible because we want to make sure that this is going to be part of our library. It's going to be part of the legacy of the Ramon Magsaysay Museum as well for many years to come. Okay, so the spiel tells me good morning, good morning to everybody. But sometimes when I personally wake up in the morning, I'm not sure how good the morning is, only because, the news is, the moment I turn on the news, the moment I turn on social media, it's all negativity. From politics to things that are happening in our environment, to our children, it's all negative. And so this morning, though, we choose to set all of those things aside. We don't focus on negativity, but we focus on possibilities and we focus on the youth. And it's cliche to talk about the youth being the future of tomorrow, or being the people that, it's as if the whole burden of what my generation and other generations have done is passed on to them. And sometimes it's so unfair. And yet, that's how I think every generation feels, that the previous generations passed on the problems to them, and now they're being asked to give the solutions. But we always face it with hope, we face it with optimism, and together we know we can make things happen. And that's what we're going to try and do today. Okay. Raise of hands. Has anybody heard of permaculture before? Raise your hands. Okay, we have a few. Okay, we have a few hands. Okay, a few. I mean, truthfully speaking, I never heard about permaculture. I never knew anything about permaculture until we were given, because every single year, the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation gets all kinds of nominations. So there was this nomination about a man in this place called Timor-Leste, and I had to look at a map. Where is Timor-Leste? And they have a very rich history as well. But there was this man who was involved in permaculture and in talking about how it can be propagated with the next generation of people, because the earth needs it, okay? The earth needs it. So that's the only time I found out about permaculture, truth be told. Permaculture apparently is more than a way of farming. It's a way of living, a philosophy that draws from nature's wisdom to design communities that are sustainable, self-reliant, and more importantly, in harmony with the earth. It teaches us to care for the land, care for people, and share resources fairly. You know, it's 2025. We have so much technology. We're supposed to be so connected more than ever. And yet, we also have all these problems in the world right now, whether it has something to do with food sustainability, with pollution, with access to water. And unfortunately, it's all because of all the things we as human beings have done over the course of time. And so we're going to talk about permaculture today as a way of trying to say, I'm sorry to nature. What have we done to you? And I think last week, Kochakorn Vorakhom, who was our speaker from Thailand, was talking about Mother Nature, truly to be seen as mother. You know, what do mothers do? Mothers usually nurture. They take care of the children. And yet we take our mothers for granted many times. The cooking that they've done for us, the caring that they've done for us, you know, the number of times that they've talked to us when we were down and out and tried to uplift us. And that's exactly what we're doing to Mother Nature. She's doing her best to give us water, to give us sunshine, to give us resources, minerals. And yet, what have we done? We've taken advantage of her. And so this is our time to reflect as to how we're going to say we're sorry individually, collectively, as a team, as a group, as a community. But at the same time, what can we do to stop it? Stop the pillage. And let's get back to doing things the way it's supposed to be done, out of caring for others, out of love, and not just out of greed, which is what's going on right now. The Ramon Magsaysay Award celebrates greatness of spirit, that rare leadership that doesn't clamor for the spotlight, but changes lives quietly, powerfully, and from the ground up. In Eugenio Lemos, we find this spirit deeply rooted in every farm he has revived, every song that he has sung, every youth camp he has led, and every community he has empowered. Ego is more than an environmentalist. He is also a farmer, a teacher, a musician, and truly a movement in himself. His story doesn't begin in a boardroom or in a global summit. It begins in the dry soils of post-conflict Timor-Leste, where land was barren, hunger was real, and hope had to be planted from scratch. Through his organization, Permatil, Ego brought life back to the land and brought back dignity to his people. He showed them how to grow their own food, but also dream about their futures with their own hands, using their own wisdom and sustaining their own ecosystems. And what's most remarkable is now he has placed young people at the center of it all, not as passive recipients, but as leaders, visionaries, and co-creators. Permatil's youth camps are not just training grounds. They are awakening grounds where young people dig into the earth and discover their new way of life. To live simply, live sustainably, and live with others in harmony in their communities. So just so you all know, there's going to be a big youth camp that we're going to talk about in October, where Ego will be leading it, and they're hoping for 1,000 young people to join them in Timor-Leste. So more to come on that later on. Ego's message is clear. The future of our world depends on the wisdom of the past, the passion of the present, and the courage to plant seeds for tomorrow. This is transformative leadership, not just restoring land, but restoring trust in what communities can achieve when rooted in culture, resilience, and collective action. So friends, as we listen today, may we also be inspired to act, to trust the young. I love seeing the young faces today. And to value, everybody just values technology right now, and there is merit to technology. But we cannot forget the value of indigenous knowledge, that knowledge that has been passed on from one generation to another. And most importantly, everybody talks about self-care these days, okay? But we also have to talk about care for the earth. Care for the earth. And to build lives and systems that last, and not just for us, but for generations to come. Let's keep planting seeds. Let's keep, building together. And never forget a few things. Last week, one of the questions that was asked of Koch, our speaker, she was the chair of the United Nations Women in Climate Change. She's also a frequent speaker during COP. That's the big climate change conference. And I think the next one, I'm not sure where it's going to be, but it's usually in all the major cities around the world. And people were asking her, what can we do? What can we do as individuals? And her answer was simple. The main one thing that we can all do is to plant trees. Goes, forget about anything else, plant trees. But just keep in mind that sometimes it takes 10 trees for one tree to survive. So just don't plant one tree, plant at least 10, okay? So at least you have a higher chance of this tree to grow and blossom. So, ladies and gentlemen, together, hopefully, together with the young, with wisdom of the old, and hearts committed to the earth, the future can still be green, just, and full of life. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I am very, very thrilled to give the microphone to our guest speaker this morning, who flew all the way from Dili, from Timor-Leste. He is a 2023 Ramon Magsaysay Awardee. As I've mentioned earlier, he's an environmentalist, a musician. He's known for championing sustainable agriculture through permaculture. He studied in Australia, which is where permaculture really started. And if you take a look at the maps again, I didn't know how close Australia is to Dili. It's about an hour away, right? An hour away. So that's where it is. There's no straight flight yet to Dili. You have to go through Dili either through Singapore, KL, or Bali. But he is the founder of Permatil. He has empowered communities, especially the youth, with eco-friendly farming practices. And his talk is going to highlight the role of youth and communities in restoring water systems in advancing sustainable land. So the Board of Trustees of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation awarded Eugenio Lemos the Magsaysay Award because we recognize his indomitable spirit in uplifting the lives of local communities, his vision and passion in integrating local and indigenous cultures in his advocacy for the care of the environment as well as the well-being of people, and for being truly a man of and for the people, and thus for the world as well. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome Mr. Eugenio Lemos to Manila.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So, first, I would like to thank Mom Susan for doing introduction, and thank you, everyone, for making your time today to come to this session. And thank you to all the sponsors to create this event. So, as Mom Susan saying that I also as a singer-songwriter. So I'd like to present to you one of my original songs called Timor-Leste. It means Timor, the rising sun. So I think the chorus, I put the chorus here. So I'd like to hear your voice as well, if you don't mind. Is it okay? Yes. Filipinos love you. So the chorus like this. Ho, 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 Timor. Ho, ho, niarain. Ho, 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 Timor. Can I hear your voice? Ho, 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 Timor. Ho, ho, niarain. Ho, 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 Timor. Okay. All right, let's try. Ho, 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 Timor. Ho, ho, niarain. Ho, 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 Timor. Can I hear your voice, please? Ho, 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 Timor. Ho, ho, niarain. Ho, 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 Timor. Loro santo, loro monu, dansi fetto, dansi more, e manganara, Timor, loro sai. Lanya fira kulanya kalari, ita me santi morwanai, nebe nyamutu, hari Timor, loro sai. Okay, please join me. Ho, 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 Timor. Ho, ho, niarain. Ho, 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 Timor. One more, please. Ho, 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 Timor. Beautiful. Ho, ho, niarain. Ho, 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 Timor. Timor, voice, please. Oh, 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 Timor. Oh, how did I? Oh, 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 Timor. Now I want to hear your voice along. Oh, how did I? Oh, 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 Timor. Oh, 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 Timor. Oh, how did I? Oh, 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 Timor. Thank you. So, once again, thank you very much to all of you. I've seen many familiar faces this morning. So today, the title I'm going to present is Engaging Young People in Store the Water Resources and Environmental Conservation in Timor-Leste. So, as Ma'am Susan already introduced about Permatil, the organization I belong to, but also we have now, because of the program we created in Timor, we also established Permatil Global, which is registered in Australia. So we have two organizations, Permatil in Timor and also Permatil Global in Australia. So it's a long story to tell. So permaculture being introduced from Australia to Timor, but now we export it back to the world. So I'll tell this story later during my presentation. So Timor-Leste, topographically, it's more mountain than the flat area. And during the Portuguese colonial time and during the Indonesian occupation, so much the forest being clearing, and also because of the traditional farming, so lots of land clearings and many big forests being logged out. And Timor used to be a big island. Now we call Timor-Leste, means East Timor, and now we have also West Timor, which is still part of Indonesia. So I'm talking about the eastern part, which is Timor-Leste. So used to be fully covered by the trees we call Icameli, we call sandalwood, sorry. It's a sandalwood. So, and then that's what attract Portuguese and Dutch arrived in 1500, so they divided the country into half. So because of the topography, so when you clearing the lands, and during rainy season, lots of sedimentation goes to the ocean and causing landslide, erosion. And we experienced 2021, we have big flooding across the whole country. So, and when rainy season, many communities suffer access to water. Especially in Timor, women and children, is they have to walk long distance to collect water. So because of that issue, it's contributed to malnutrition, food insecurity, environmental degradation, and so on. So Permatil, the organization, we're trying to working with local communities, especially the rural area. So we went to a rural area and starting to identify their problem that they are facing. And we are not bringing new ideas, but we try to learn from the elders, the traditional knowledge, how to their traditional wisdom, and then bring all the knowledge, all the resources they have in their local area to answer their issue, the problem, rather than bring new ideas. So it's not trying to invent the wheel, but we try to incorporate what already exists in the local communities. So we're starting to identify where is the spring that community using, and what is the culture of the community looking into water. In Timor, we have every spring belong to traditional house. And every traditional house, the spring, the reservoir, they have the name. And the name is traditional name. They have the story behind that. And every year they used to do ceremony. But because of the long period of the occupation and so on, the influence of the religion, so people starting to stop the practice. And we have a traditional law, customary law called Tarabandu. So they protecting all the nature and springs, so people cannot, throwing trash into the spring or bring. They have different community. They have different laws into the spring, how to protect the spring. So all of this, we gather all of this the information, and then we also gather the information how many households depend on that spring. So after we gather all of this information, so we're looking from approach like a social approach, and then we're also looking into ecological approach, looking into the vegetation, and then we come up with technical approach. So as you see, this give this image just to give us an option. If we want to move to make a more better world, so we could choose this part. If we want to continue to create a problem to our next generation, so this, the other side is the image that we're going to create today. So that's the permaculture is about earth care, people care, and fair share. So that's why we are mostly looking into the other side. So because of the Timorese population, 70% is under 35 years old. So it's a very young country. So because of this very big population, so Permatil is trying to engaging young people as much as we can to make them, giving them motivation, a role to play, important role for them to make an act in their respective village. So I think today we're talking about youth and employment and so on. I think same as in Timor. People, we have many students graduate from high school, from university, but because the education system that I have to criticize, that it's, dragging the young people away from farming system itself. Because the education system is, we need to make sure that it's aligned with the local condition of our communities. Because otherwise, young people, they went to school, they started agriculture high school, university, agriculture faculty, but they finish, they never go back to their village. Why? Because agriculture is not a sexy job for them. So I think this has become a global trend today. So that's why we are engaging young people. And we're organizing many events, camp, and we bring the elder people to come to share. So like these elder women, sharing her knowledge about traditional natural herbal medicine, and also teaching the young people how to looking after the plant that provide herbal medicine for their communities. So this is about generation change. So from learning from the elder, and then they could become inspiration for them when they go home. They're starting to think, oh yes, I have also an elder, I have knowledgeable about how to protect the water sources, protect the wildlife, and so on. So this is one of the example. Sorry, am I talk too fast? Okay. Hopefully in my English you can understand. All right. So, and also it's about helping the young people rebuild, the environmental knowledge and stewardship. And many young people today in Timor, every year they involving in planting trees. But I'll explain to you later about what kind of trees that we should plant, because not every tree is helping to retain water and soil. And also, during the camp or the activities, we're doing some training and leadership skill, and also innovation, especially in regard to gender sensitivity, because that's why in Timor, every camp, every activities or training we do, we always ask for equal representative between male and female. And many young people who came, and we asked them to bring their traditional costume. And then they also showing their traditional dance during the camp, just like a cultural exchange. So this is a water restoration program, and we call it planting water, growing communities. So what we did is actually some people asking, why planting water? Because why not planting trees? So the answer is better to planting water first before planting the trees. Because when you're planting trees, tree does need water. If there is no water, the survival rate of the trees will be very low. And the worst part is when you're planting the trees in the wrong season. Yeah, and also if you don't instruct the community well, then they're planting the whole poly bag, the plastic bag, into the ground. And then a few months later, the trees will die. But when you're planting the water, is by creating a natural, like a reservoir or retention ponds. So in Timor we have, I want to tell you a little bit about in Timor we have natural reservoir. I think it's probably same in Philippines. And every natural reservoir is created by water buffalo and pig. So pig come see the wetland, they're starting to dig out, and then water buffalo came and make the swamp. And why? Because water buffalo is kind of animal that cannot stand for heat. So they have to make their body continue wet. So, and then the swamp become a recharge basin. So every time rain comes, that is recharge water back to the aquifer. And even though water buffalo playing on the top, when it come out in the spring, it's clean because it's a sealed through a natural, sealed inside the soil, so the water become very clean, can be consumed as well. So I went around Timor and started to ask information from different communities about their water sources. And they said, we used to have the spring because we had the reservoir. And the reservoir used to have water buffalo. But because people kill all of the water buffalo, and now the reservoir dries out. And the reservoir dries out, and that's what the spring also dries out. So I keep, everywhere I go, the same story being repeated. Okay, so it means I come to a conclusion. So we have to mimicking the water buffalo work. So by digging the swamp, if we have the water buffalo, will be good, because water buffalo will compact the soil, so that water will slowly sinking into the ground. But otherwise, we have to use lots of organic matter to put into the ground to slow down the water recharge. So then we're using that technique, that traditional knowledge, and that's the faster way to revive the spring. So many spring that has been dry for 50, 100 years, we could bring back in 1 or 2 years only by creating a reservoir in the mountain area, especially in the mountain area. Not only the spring, but also the creek. And when the water is there, many wildlife will come back. So I give an analogical explanation like this. We compare it between shower and drinking water. So when we shower, so we could shower using lots of water. But every time we finish, water will dry out in our body. That seems like a bare land. No trees, no grass. Heavy rain comes, and then water just washes from the top to downstream. And then after rain stops, will be nothing. The land will continue dry. But different when we're drinking water. When we're drinking water not straight away sinking from our body. Water will distribute in our body, make us alive, fresh. And so this same as the land. So water only came out from our body through sweat. When we sweat, it's the whole body is sweating. Or if too full in our body, we'll go to the bathroom. That's the only way we release the remain of water from our body. Same as the land. If we could make the land drinking water as much as it can, then water will stay in the ground and then starting to release, make moisture in the soil. When there's enough moisture, the grass and the trees just popping up from the ground naturally without planting. And the trees that popping out, it's a natural planting that locally growing for the long time. Because many species, they did not grow because there is not enough moisture for allow them to grow. So if you're digging a small holes, many holes, we allow water to go into the ground and then will help germination of the seeds that long time has been in the soil. So, and then rest of the water will goes to the spring, goes to the creek, and then will make so many life, including, small animal in the water, fish, an eel. I'll tell you something about an eel later. So, this is how we explain about restoring the water. So that's why we call planting water. So right now, this is, so far we've been reviving over 700 spring back to alive within 20 years. So this program now being adopted by the government, by many, many agencies in Timor. So because this is the faster way. So right now, this is, right now we're working, this is over 800 communities that we're working on across the whole country. So this year alone, I think will be increased a couple hundred more, can be more than 1,000 communities that we're working. So Permatil is working across the whole country. So what we did with engaging young people. So since 2008, so we're starting a camp called Perma Scout Camp. Perma Scout is coming from scouting. So joining scouting and permaculture together. So we have 2008, 2011, and then 2012. We're using the name of Perma Scout. But then later we changed. Why? We changed the name because many young people don't like wearing uniform, marching, because scouting is marching. So then we said, okay, let's change the name into Perma Youth. So then we're changing it to Perma Youth Camp since 2015, and thousands of young people joining. But the activities is very hands-on activities. So we 5 a.m. we start the activities. We wake people up and exercise, and then clean up the areas. So my friend Ben is now trying to do Perma Youth Camp in Philippines. So we could talk later. So we're starting early. Why? Because the Perma Youth Camp is not just about training young people on technical, but it's also about character building. Many young people, they don't like to cook or sewing their clothes. But when they go to the camp, because we separate boys in the different areas and the girls in different areas. So normally boys will go to the girls, oh, can you sew my clothes, please? No, that's not the rule. So we're setting up a very, strong rules. And so they have to, each male and female, they have to especially stay at night and also cooking. But before we giving raw material, raw food, and then they cook themselves. But because we're learning after a few time, many young people always come up with excuse. Oh, I didn't go to the activities because I have to cook. Okay, so then we're changing. I was like, we provide food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So no one will be left in the camp unless they're sick. So this camp now become very popular in the country. So we have many national youth camp, and now we have district camp, so regional camp. So this year will be first time we organize the international youth camp, which I will share with you later. So, and they wake up at 5, and then they breakfast at 7, 8 o'clock, everybody in the field. So we break up all the participants. Last October, we have over 800 young people joining the camp for 5 days. And we break up into small group, and every small group have a facilitator, a trainer, to accompany them. So they're working on creating retention ponds, create weir, making terraces, making a garden or rainwater collection. So everything is hands-on activities. And the rules we're setting is before they come to the camp, they have to sign an agreement or a declaration. I'm Ego Lemos. I would like to participate in the camp fully and follow the rules. When I come back, I will implement. And this declaration have to be signed by the community leader. So their community leader is signed and then prove that they're recommending these young people to participate. So when they finish, they have to submit their action plan, what they're going to want to do from what they learned during the camp. And then we give every participant 6 months in a row in order for them to implement. And we will go and monitor. If they implement within 6 months, then we will release their training certificate. Otherwise, we're not giving their training certificate. So this is the strategy. So that's why 80% of the participant is active in the ground. So right now it's we train, so far we train over 6,500 young people across the whole country. So they are now active in the ground. So this is one of the technique. So they working with young, slowing down the water flows by creating what we call like a barrier or weir along the dry creeks every 20 meters. Or like as best is every 10 meters. Therefore, when rain comes, we could slow down the water flows, and then water will recharge into the ground. And that's activities that done by some of the young people. And also, interestingly, as I said, we always ask the participant 50-50. That's our aim. But sometimes some communities sending less female. But so far, 40% of the activities is engage women. So they're very active in the field, in their village. So you see the women, they're digging retention ponds. So this is part of the water restoration activities. So also we have reforestation activities. But we are not just planting trees, but we are very selective of the tree species that have multifunction. So trees that provide food sources for the community, provide home for the wildlife, and also provide sustainable wood fuel, improve soil fertility, and reduce carbon emission. And I was talking to Mom Susan last night about a wildlife. So human being, we are very egoistic. Like I'm not me, but every time we planting the trees, we always look and referring to the market. How much is the trees cost in the market? And especially with timber. And then today, because of the climate change, we have so many projects about carbon farming, which is we ask the community to plant trees, and then many communities receiving money because they're planting the trees. But my observation so far, those trees, tree species that have been recommended, it's trees that consume lots of water, consume lots of nutrient from the ground. So it looks green, but it's actually contribute to land degradation and destroy biodiversity of the ecosystem. So this is what we campaign in Timor. We say, okay, we could do carbon farming, but we can only planting the trees that have multifunction. We are not planting monoculture tree system because otherwise we'll destroy the ecosystem. While the wildlife, they are not planting trees for themselves. They are working 24 hours planting the forest, which is replenish the planet. It's purpose for all of us. But we keep destroying their home. We keep killing the wildlife. So it's best, if we want to replenish our planet, it's best to protecting the wildlife because they are planting more trees than a human being. And the wildlife, when they're planting the trees, they never ask us to pay any cent. Yeah. So this is, now we're doing so many activities in the school with school children. One, I would like to share also about the education program in Timor. So since 2013, I was involved with the curriculum, national curriculum team for Ministry of Education. So today, we're able to introduce permaculture into the national curriculum. So it's a compulsory subject for the school gardening. So now the school gardening in Timor called permaculture gardening, it's compulsory subject under the discipline of art and culture. And last year, we're so grateful. Last year, government, because of the successful of from grade 1 to 6, and now government want to upgrade into grade 7, 8, and 9. So I was working, I'm the coordinator of the discipline of art and culture to reform, so writing all the material. So again, we include permaculture ethic, permaculture principle into the national curriculum, grade 7, 8, and 9. And we also include school gardening and one of the unit called planting water technology in the curriculum. So it's from grades 7 to 9. So on the grade 7, we have a project for school making seed ball. I don't know if you heard of seed ball. If you Google seed ball, you'll see a seed ball. A seed ball is a clay, making a clay, but you put seeds inside. Any seeds that you like that contribute, like fruit trees or trees that retain water and soil. So you put inside and making like a ball, you dry. Before rain season start, so every kids go out and throwing into the cliff or the place where you cannot access. So this allow everyone can plant thousands of trees in a year. So let's the nature select which one they want to grow in that land instead of us saying we want to plant that particular trees. So this is the way we could planting more forests. So this is my recommendation. And as I mentioned before, this year we're going to organize the International Permaculture Youth Convergence. This is the first one. Why I said the first one? Because Ben probably knows. So far, permaculture movement around the world, we only have permaculture convergence, but never have specific on youth. So because Timor-Leste already organized 14th time of the youth, permaculture youth camp, so this year we'd like to host the first International Perma Youth Convergence, which is we hope we're going to have the delegation from Philippines. So we already have a confirmation from many countries. So we'd like to have the young people from all the continental. So that's, we can discuss later. So And our president of Timor-Leste, he's the very highlighted this program, and he's supporting. Last year, the National Youth Camp president came, and this year also, president of Timor-Leste will also hosting. Together we will host the international delegate. So he will be there. And during the camp, we have, as I mentioned like before, we have action activities in the ground, but also during the night from 6 to 7, we have movie time, we show movie, and then 8 to 10, we have performance. We have big stage, we have many performers come and perform, and we have dance, we have theater, so it's like a cultural activities. And also, I would like to share with you the book that we published. You can pass it around. So this is a 3-volume. It's a practical book, which is you can download. You can download from permatilglobal.org. It's open source. You can download for free and donate what you can. Or if you don't, it's fine. Because our purpose is to share as much as we can. And people already downloading in 162 countries. If you go to that website, you see the map of the world, how people download the book. So you go to permatilglobal.org, you can download the whole book for the 3-volume. Volume 1, Permaculture and People. Volume 2, House and Garden. Volume 3 is Regenerative Agriculture. Yeah, you can pass on. And now we're working on the 4th volume called Planting Water. So hopefully this Planting Water will also create, when you go to this website, there is a short video on Vimeo. Vimeo, you'll see many videos. Later we show a video. So Vimeo, there's many videos, short video. So we will upload technical video there. So the whole program is endorsed by our leader. So President Timor-Leste, Ms. Ramos Horta, he is great support of the program. So I think I stop for now, and we'll have a short video, I think 4 minutes, about the youth in Timor.
Sunurai te siahe halo rai marang rai krekas hotu ahi sua saiba kalohan halo rai manas.
The concept of permaculture is great, and it's talking about people connecting to the land, respecting each other.
It's great to see is the way young people are enthusiastically getting together and trying to solve some of the problems of the country, you know, some of which are extremely basic, like improving the quality of the soil in which they plant their seeds and their crops.
Permaculture have the great, philosophy and the great ideas for the care of the environment, care to the earth. In Timor, there is not much like advertisement, like a TV ad, radio ad, and people are influencing with so much market like a which is brainwash people. So I think better it's a good way that we start first to with something good before they brainwash with something negative.
Udah mo dumaray layhay layhadu.
We don't just create job that we pay people, but giving people, ideas or inspiration to start something for themselves. There will be a lot help. For instance, as we give people fishing line and the hook and teach them how to fish instead of giving fish to people, which will create dependency. We need to create something so that they feel like they've been valued. If you don't, I think in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, we'll, for sure we'll have create a leader who not just good to lead the country, but they are aware of the social issue, and the ecological issue, economic issue, social culture issue, and political issue. So that's how we try. So we just try to facilitate whatever we can. We just do it.
Cuidado, vacina, essa cuidado, itarasi, itarioan, hobe vacina, abamaruan, itarioan, hobe vacina, abamaruan.
So that's the presentation. So I'd like to ask, open for question, if you want to comment anything or ask question. So I give it back. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lemos, for those beautiful songs and inspiring presentation on engaging young people in restoring water sources and conserving the environment in Timor-Leste. You've shown us how youth can become powerful water stewards through permaculture, and your message powerfully underscores the vital role of water in our lives and the urgency of protecting it. I'm sure the audience is not only in awe of your talent, but also deeply inspired by the work you do. To begin our Q&A forum, we would like to invite our guest reactors, Mr. Ben Francia, owner of Habilin Farm and a permaculture practitioner, Ms. Cherry Atelano, CEO and President of AGREA Agricultural Systems International, and Mr. Walter Panganiban of NutriAsia.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Ben Francia. I am a farmer and a permaculture practitioner. So I started a permaculture farm in Tayabas, Quezon. It's a family heritage property. And I came across permaculture because I was looking for really a more sustainable way of managing the land. Right? So siguro a little background how I met Ego. So I met Ego in the international permaculture conversions in Taiwan last year. And I was really so inspired by his story on how he really, was how he advocated the spreading of the learnings of permaculture, particularly to the youth. So I also teach permaculture, as our MC has mentioned, but I mostly teach permaculture to people who want to start their own farms. So mostly people within my age group. Okay, I'm a Gen X, I used to be a digital marketing professional. So in Tayabas, they call me Maynilain, meaning somebody who grew up in Manila, but my ancestors are really from Tayabas. So the people that really, kumbaga, who are really interested in permaculture, as I have experience, are those people who who want to start their own farms, right? So these are people who are interested in permaculture here in the Philippines mostly. And when I, so that's, these are the people that I really talk to. These are the people who approach me. But when I met Ego, when I experienced Ego, his main focus was really the youth. And parang parang a light bulb initially, kumbaga lighted up. Sabi ko, that makes a lot of sense. You in terms of effort, you really don't have to like spend a lot of effort convincing young people because they really get it right away, right? And sabi nga, it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. It's hard to convince older people about the values of permaculture. So when I went back to Manila, one of the things that is on top of my to-do list is to start something for the youth. I don't have anything in mind yet, but when I was reminded about the International Permaculture Youth Convergence in October, sabi ko, I want to participate in that, in that effort. And so as Ego has already mentioned, we'll start it with a pilot Perma Youth camp here in the Philippines. So again, it's a small effort. We're starting with like 30 young people from the Calabarzon region. Calabarzon kasi that's my immediate reach. 30 people because we can only host 30 kids or 30 young people in the farm. But I think it's a good start. It's a seed that we're planting here in the Philippines. And we're so inspired by your stories, and I think we too can get to that point where the youth can create this like wave of kumbaga influencing other people, caring for the earth, caring for the people, and fair share. Thank you.
Thank you,
Edo.
Ben. Thank you, Ben. And that's exactly what we're here to do today. The Magsaysay Award Foundation has three main goals. One is to inspire through the work of our Magsaysay awardees like Ego Lemos. The second one is to interconnect like-minded people, because not everybody will be into permaculture, but we all know that it's good for our country, it's good for our world. And so for all these people that are into permaculture, we're just so happy that someone is taking the lead, like Ben here, through his own little farm, starting with 30 young people who hopefully will become 60, will become 90, and before you know it, will be like Ego, who has 800 and now going for 1,000 young people. We are an agriculture country, just like Timor-Leste, and we're hoping too that the balance changes. That instead of making our biggest import, or not import, export, our people, our biggest export should be rice, should be our mangoes, should be, our buko, and so on and so forth. And that hopefully we go back to what this country is all about, which is, very much an agriculture country, just like Thailand is, where they're coming up with the best fruits, the best vegetables, when technically many of them will always tell you that their professors were Filipinos from the UP College of Los Baños or the International Rice Institute. And so they're so grateful to so many Filipinos that have influenced their lives. And yet our country does not have the bounty that their countries have. And so we're hoping that that comes back to us. And so we want to thank Ego for inspiring Ben, and for Ben also starting it out even with 30 young people. Okay, so thank you. Thank you for your reaction. So the next person that's going to be reacting, thank you, Sherry, for coming from, you just arrived from Brazil, right? Thank you so much for coming, and thank you. Thank you. Now, as a woman farmer, ayan na. Okay, as a woman farmer, Sherry, I know that obviously, I mean, agriculture is in your DNA. You know, what are some of your thoughts about what we're trying to do in terms of increasing awareness about the importance of water in agriculture? And again, thank you so much for being part of this conversation that we're having this morning. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Sherry Atelano, and as always, you inspire me of what you do in the school gardens in Timor. I went to Timor several times because we work with the youth in agriculture in ASEAN, and Timor was the host, and their president, President Jose Ramos Horta, is like one of the best supporter for youth in agriculture in your country. So I was just listening to Sir Ego, and I know about his work because I've been following about his work. It's so fantastic because water is essential, but water is also depleting in our world, no, not only in the Philippines. Aside from it's depleting, it's becoming dirty because a lot of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides are whatever you put in soil pollutes the water and it goes into the cycle. So that's why I'm so happy Sir Ben was talking about permaculture, because I think aside from restoring and having more water, we only have limited water in the world, and the planet is also making our water and restoring the health of our water to be becoming healthier so that it's healthier for us to grow. I share a little bit about our work in the women, because you also mentioned women in agriculture. So I have Agria company, which we work with 37,000 smallholder farmers in the Philippines. Most of them are actually connected to the supply chain. I don't know if you're familiar with Sodexo catering. So we co-run the largest catering in the Philippines together with Sodexo. So if you go to the office of Google, JP Morgan, American Express, international schools, we are the ones in charge of the supply chain. So from the kitchen to the farms, that's my company's assignment. From the kitchen to the plate, that's Sodexo's and chefs and nutritionist assignment. I'm explaining to you because it's important. As what Ms. Susan was explaining a while ago, we keep exporting our people, but also the people that are left in the Philippines or working in BPO industries, we're also killing them. Because most food in the cafeteria, they contribute 21% to the GDP. OFW contribute 21% to the GDP. 21% is divided by the rest. Agriculture is like 13% of that. The worst is the people who are left, the brightest and the best, are working in the BPO industry. We're also killing them. 35 years old, most of them are actually having hypertension, diabetes. It's because of the food that they're eating. So before, when we had this partnership, the food in the cafeteria were super unhealthy, extremely processed because it's very convenient. It's paid by the companies. But lately, because of this commitment to people, planet, you know, how do we change the planetary boundaries? How do we do people and planet to restore the health of the soil, the health of the waters, and all these big multinational companies' commitment to 1.5% Paris Agreement. Sorry, I'm going a little bit global and I'm putting it all local, connected to Sir Ego. Why this is so important. Because of this, all these big multinational companies realized that to meet the balance of planetary boundaries and the balance of restoring the health of our soil and water is actually food. They're talking about carbon footprint, and it goes back to food. So all these companies now, as we feed 60,000 people in the Philippines daily, PPO, we want to make this as a strong force on how to help our Filipino farmers. So what's the click? We work with 29 chefs and 7 nutritionists to design menus in the cafeteria aligned to the seasonality of Filipino crops. Because you cannot order mangoes in November when mangoes are better in March to May. You cannot order, tomatoes and rainy season and expect it to be cheaper when it's actually sweeter, healthier, and more affordable during summer. So what we need to do is we educated the chefs, the nutritionists to pull it back. And that's the only way we can help our Filipino farmers. So every quarter we know how much eggplant we need, how much tomatoes we need, and we work it with our farmers. And most of our farmers actually are run by women. Why? because this is pure, transformational work on the ground. How can we transition for these farmers to work on the ground? And water, we realize, is necessary. So the first pilot we did is the Magsaysay farmers. They have this waterfalls in Magsaysay, the Banahaw waterfalls, and the Banahaw Mountain Reserve. So we work with these women, and we work with FOMO, fear of missing out for the farmers. FOMO is working. In our case, it's working so much. Before, these farmers were only planting tomatoes, radish, and cucumber. And every time there's tomatoes overload, you see it in the news. Tomatoes are on the street being thrown away. So how can we avoid this? So what we did, we sent a purchase order to these farmer groups run by our women. They're trained. It's actually funded by Ayala. We partner with BPI Foundation, Banco, to include these farmers to be bankable. And then now, because they're bankable, because of the Ayala BPI Foundation, we send them a PO. So we put, of course, the radish, cucumber, tomatoes. And then we have eggplant and a whole lot. So 12. And then they said, oh, why we could only supply 3 and we can plant all of this, 12. So now, sir, we're talking about what you said, biodiversity. So we converted their farms into, some of them are doing permaculture, biodiversity, but it's a transition because they're used to monocropping, they're used to putting a lot of synthetic fertilizer, putting a lot of synthetic pesticides. So now, because of this FOMO, they divide their land into quadrants. They started with 4. Okay, I have tomatoes here, I have sayote, I have pechay, I have papaya. So now, they utilize their water better. And then, they have layers of income combating climate change in the Philippines. Because now you have income in 45 days from pechay. You have income 6 months and 5 months from sayote. You have income in 10 months from papaya. You have income in 3 months from cucumber. You have income in 5 months from sweet potato. So now you increase biodiversity, better utilization of water, and then they limit their use of pesticides and fertilizer. Because as per ego, the more you increase the biodiversity of your land, the more the pests have choices, but they cannot attack your tomato anymore. And so it's also a cultural pest control. So this is so important what you do, Sir Ego, and of course, Sir Ben with the youth. It's because it's so inspiring and it's doable in our country. Few of us are working in the agriculture sector, but I'm so confident that if we collaborate, especially you have a tool, your manual, we can go to the Department of Education, work it out with DepEd, because they also have Gulayan sa Paaralan program. So I think they just need a lot of guidance to see what is it for us. Lastly, also because you work with youth and women, in Philippines, most of our people are becoming, in the economic stage, not performing well because of the malnourished brains. We call it malnourished brains. So in the UN, my work in the UN as a UN ambassador, that's why I was in Brazil. We've been working with Johns Hopkins and Harvard. There's a scientific study we issued in 2024 from Global Nutrition. $1 investment to the first 1,000 days of a child is actually $16 ROI when the child is in the economic age, when the child is working. Because the brain cognitive development is not compromised. So there's a scientific study about that released by Global Nutrition, and I happen to help work with that project. And if you save a child from 8 years old to 10 years old, that $1, the ROI is $7 in the economic age. So we really need to save the child in the first 1,000 days. So thank you so much for really asking me, Miss Joy, Apple, Marie, and of course, Miss Susan, to be a reactor, because you yourself is an inspiration to me. And I think when we collaborate together, we can definitely solve the malnutrition and food security of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Please have a seat here, Cher. Thank you. Aren't you glad you woke up early this morning and are joining us today in this conversation? Can I hear a round of applause if you're happy? No, di ba? And as I said, we would like to continue the conversation, not just by inspiring one another, but by really connecting with Ben, with Sherry, and maybe even going to Timor-Leste and being with Ego, because we just want to keep, all these good karma coming. So thank you. All right, we have one more reactor, and that's our wonderful sponsor, Wally Panganiban from NutriAsia. As you can see there, locally, now with multivitamins. Wally,
Thank
please.
you, Miss Susan. Good morning, everyone. In spite of my size, I feel very small, following after Ma'am Cherry, Mr. Ben, and Sir Ego. So I will do the mandatories first so I can react properly. First, I represent NutriAsia. I'm Corporate Affairs Manager for NutriAsia. And you have a brand here that's well visualized whenever you see the speaker. It's locally. It's called locally because it's built around the premise of sourcing ingredients locally. So the fruits that go into the brand comes from farming communities across the Philippines, which is actually brilliant because it also jives with what we're trying to do. Also make a very good system out of what we're already having. Earlier, when Ma'am Susan asked us about, do you know anything about permaculture? I was very hesitant to raise my hand because I didn't know anything about it. But thanks for the sharing from Ego. I learned a lot in a very brief presentation. So it's all about the integration of humanity with nature, making sure that we are all self-sufficient, resilient, mixed with what we need to do in order to survive, and adjusting with the locality. So before I go to the reaction to the presentation, can I bully you into liking Permatil Global on Facebook first? Do it now. But before you forget, do it now. Like it on Facebook. Follow them on Facebook. They have about 6,000 followers, I think. So we can add 70 to that. Okay, like it now, and then like this YouTube channel because we're going to force her to do something about it. Can you also go to YouTube and like Bernadette Zambrano blog? Like it. We're going to force her to do something later. I told Ma'am Susan and Miss Joy when I first met them what I can do, because I'm not as an expert as and the farmers that we have for today, I bully people into doing that stuff. So if you like what you heard from Ego, like Permatil Global, and maybe participate in the global event happening in October. I'm not familiar with your organizations yet. I will do my research first, but it's interesting to hear you guys very involved in all of this. Now, you are supposed to also subscribe to the Bernadette Zambrano blog because she might be joining the Perma Youth Conference in October. And we'll be looking for a sponsor to bring her and perhaps some of the youth being organized by Sir Ben and Ma'am Cherry to Timor-Leste so that they can know about. We're putting the pressure
Maybe
there out
NutriAsia
there.
can do
Maybe. I will have to tell my boss. I don't want to get fired. But okay, so now that you've liked that, my reaction. There are several gems in the presentation. First, learning from indigenous knowledge. I graduated from the AIM, the first batch of the risk management and crisis management program. One of the first things that they really teach us is that try to learn from what the natives have been doing all these many years, because there's a wealth of knowledge you can really draw from that. So interesting that Sir Ego mentioned that. Second, tap the youth. Old people, they will die soon. That's the reality. The future is with the young people like all of us here. Yes, all of us Gen Alphas here, right? The future is for us to create. And it's interesting that we're starting with that promise of changing the way that we live through making the young people understand how to actually do it. So the insight from Ego was really brilliant. And hopefully, the partnership with Sir Ben can make this movement grow. If you noticed, the presentation was not technical. I was afraid because I was thinking, oh, I have to wake up early and go to the forum. It might be all technical and boring. It wasn't. It started with a song, and all of you sang along. And then we saw the things that they were doing with the kids and the women. Two important things. So starting from learning from indigenous knowledge, tapping the youth, tapping the women. One important gem also from the presentation, incorporating it in the curriculum. Ma'am Cherry referenced the Gulayan sa Paaralan. Brilliant project, not working. A lot of the public schools, they want to do it. They don't have the lot. But perhaps with something, with the inspiration from the design and the system thinking that permaculture offers, maybe we can do it more accurately, more sustainably, because you go around the public school, they want to drive the Gulayan sa Paaralan. It's not working. I know because we were working with them. So a lot of things can be drawn from the very short presentation from Sir Ego, and I really love how Sir Ben talked about the Philippines starting to also embrace it, and more importantly, what Ma'am Sherry mentioned, managing the seasonality of our produce so that they are not wasted. And we can capitalize the farmers more importantly. One of the things that we hope that you guys can take away from all of this, we need water for the food that we eat. But if you noticed, the ones that produce the food that we eat, they don't really benefit from this whole supply chain of our food network. And anchored on trying to work together, collaborate, perhaps this discussion can open up that partnerships across all of us. So with that, thank you, and very happy to be part of this morning's forum. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Francia, Ms. Atelano, and Mr. Panganiban. We are now opening the floor for questions for our speakers.
One more song. Okay.
So once again, thank you very much to everyone, especially for all the commentators from Mr. Ben, Mr. Ma'am Cherry, and also I forget the name. Wally, yes. Thank you very much. And I would like to also dedicate one of the special songs I composed back in 1989. That's my first song I composed that time. I was third year of junior high school. So the song called Tos Nine means the farmers. I don't know why because I farmers, my parents are farmers. So I wrote this song to send a message to all my fellow students to study hard, to thank our parents because they're working so hard to send us to school. So this is a song I wrote back in 1989. And this song is now using as a base for the Timorese alphabet song. So every kid in Timor is singing this song every day to learn the alphabet song. But I'm not going to sing the alphabet.
Sai hosi uba dari saraku kaf manas kopui dan manas netika. Sai hosi uba dari saraku kaf manas kopui dan manas netika. Ai farina balukida ia congelaran hori carne tika bumba lorong maras toloro cry fila ba umay o ando vencida isturang halodia balorong ikusitarian basa ina aman servisu kole filaling mangmakas baita oan do vencira isturang halodia balorong ikusitarian basa ina aman servisu kole filaling mangmakas baita oan ando vencer a isurang alodia balorong ikusitariang basa irang amang servisu kole filaling mang makas baita oan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lemos, for that wonderful performance. And with that, we would like to open the floor for questions from the audience. If you have questions for Mr. Lemos or our reactors, you may raise your hand and our ushers will approach you with a microphone. Please state your name and mention the school or organization you are affiliated with.
Hello everyone, my name is Leire. I come on behalf of ADB. Thank you very much everyone for the presentation. It was so insightful, so inspiring, truly. My question is for Mr. Lemos. I was pretty interested when I saw about the scouting camps at the beginning. I'm a scout myself and we are known for community engagement and trying to get the best out of communities. So I wanted to know how big is the scouting community in Timor-Leste, and even though it's not called the scouting camp anymore, if they are still engaged in the activities that you perform there in Timor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. The scouting in Timor is still big. I also coming from a scout myself. I was involved since I was primary school. So I think about 30,000 scouting in Timor. That's the number. And also scouting in Timor is also compulsory for every school in Timor. So it's like a compulsory for the school. But the camp, we are still engaging the scout, but we're changing the camp name into Perma Youth instead of Perma Scout. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming here. Obrigado, Mr. Ego. I hope you don't mind, but as impressed as I am, I'm impressed just by the longevity and the fact that you're still alive and doing the project. But that brings me to a question that might be, I hope it's not too crass, but where do you get the funding? And how did you start to fund it? What was your idea on how this will be funded sustainably? How is it funded now, and how different is that from how you originally thought you will sustain this project?
Thank you, Mr. Robert, for the question. Yeah, we start from scratch. The permaculture organization, Permatil, we start in around 2000, right after independence. And we start with from scratch, from nothing. And slowly, as I mentioned earlier, because of we don't have any fund in the beginning, so I personally goes to the village and stay in the village. I used to have a trial bike and also carry my small guitar, and I go to the village and stay with the community there and learning from them and understand what is their issue and trying to address their issue based on the resources, the local resources they have. Because probably bands probably know, permaculture, we have, globally, we have permaculture design course. Permaculture design course is supposed to be for 2 weeks. And I learned during doing my permaculture design course, early 2000, 2 weeks, learning 2 weeks is when you go back, you confuse what you're going to do. So, and then many participants get lost.
So after my colleagues who introduced permaculture to Timor since late 99, so I changed that approach. Instead of we inviting the participant coming to us for teaching, so I go to them and then just design the course or the program based on the need. So that's how we start. And later, more people, more friends join. And then 2005, we have one room, one motorbike, and one computer, 2005. And then we have many volunteers, we all volunteer. And then now we have over 26 staff, and we have over 100 volunteers. And we have the project almost 1,000. We're working in 1,000 community across the country. And we have many projects today. And that's, we got funding from, we're working with UNICEF, with UNDP. We're also working with an organization from Germany called Miserior. We're also working with KIWA, European Union. So many, now today is, we got many funders, but as you may know that funders, they just funded specific project. They're not, flexible. So that's the, even though we get the funding, but they're not freely to allow you to implement the activities. For instance, the youth program, not every funder supporting the youth program. So again, I had to go out and look for fund or doing fundraising, and from personnel to organization to support the youth program. So that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. And you know what, Robbie? This was also a question asked of Koch last week. Because she said, I didn't come from a family whose last name is known in Thailand. I got myself through Harvard, through grants, but there's nothing easy. You have to keep knocking at people's doors. But if you have a good idea and it's working, then there will be funders who will help you. But you have to be persistent. It doesn't happen overnight. You gotta keep going, knocking and knocking, and even if you say, even if you get so many no's, you just stand up, you pick up the phone, you call again, you write a letter, and you meet people. That's how you get the funding. Okay? All right.
And also, can I add
please.
to that? Especially with water, I think in the beginning, I think since the independence, until, most of the investment, most of the funder interesting to fund water infrastructure, like irrigation, pump, put in tank, pipe, and so on. But no funding goes to water restoration or catchment management. So that's why I criticize the project, because we create many monuments, because when the water sources dries out, all the infrastructure will become monuments. So that's my criticism towards all the water investment. So now, and we're changing, okay, best to balance between water infrastructure and water management. So now that's why it become famous today. Yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Ego. So, Elvin, would you like to say something? Hello. Good morning. Thank you for coming again to our second lecture. Go ahead.
I'm here for the free coffee and the free locally.
Please introduce yourself.
Yes. So, magandang umaga, Ego, Cherry, Ben, Wally. Maybe quick thing about Philippines, and then I'll ask my question. For the Philippines, especially for students who are here, government released a water, sanitation, and hygiene master plan, the Philippine Water Supply and Sanitation Master Plan, pre-pandemic 2019, it's 1.3 trillion pesos until 2030. That's the needed investment to ensure everyone has safe and clean water, sanitation, and hygiene. We're nowhere near that amount 6-7 years later. just so it highlights where we are as a country. My question to all of to Ego and all the panelists, two-pronged question, two-part question. What has been your biggest frustration in the work that you do? And what has been an unexpected source of joy as well? So what has been your biggest frustration working in the sector or doing the work that you've been doing, and what has been an unexpected source of joy?
Beautiful question. Ladies first. Ladies first.
Wow, Elvin, that's such a challenging when my brain is jet lagging. But thank you for giving and holding my coffee when I arrive. You're such a good friend. So I think biggest frustration, because we have a nonprofit, Agria Foundation. We work a lot with youth in ASEAN. That's why we were in Timor-Leste. And women in the Philippines, we have 1,080 women food producers in the Philippines, different location. My biggest frustration actually is changing mindset of people. And it's hard. It's not happening overnight. So you really need to create examples. So like for example, with the women, when we started with these women food producers, we actually started in the middle of the pandemic in Payatas. You know, because I keep going in Payatas to donate vegetables and food during the pandemic. And then at some point I said, we cannot be donating food. And then we cooked with chefs 1,000 meals. And I go to Payatas every week, 1,000 meals. When we open the truck, 10 minutes, the food's gone. So I said, we need to do something. So we started converting garbage areas in Payatas. If you wanna come, visit, we have beautiful farms there run by women. You know, so in agriculture, but the best joy also is transforming this mindset. So you know, the irony of things, right? When you transform that irony and fix it, it's also the biggest joy. So in Agria Foundation, our farm school is run differently. Because if you teach immediately how to plant a seed, how to water a plant, how to grow, it's so technical. Because we're in a foundation that we are transformational than transactional. So you don't transact, you transform. And part of the transformational is to transform behavior. It's challenging, but it's so meaningful and satisfying. So the first key is, actually in our farm school, we teach the power of breathing. You know, you don't just go there and plant a seed because it's easy. But we teach them the power of breathing, the power of gratefulness. So first 3 days, you create your vision board. You know, and then the women, for example, in Payatas, it was so hard because that time there was like drug war, there was pandemic, there's domestic violence and all. You know, the key question that we asked them, kaya mo pa bang mangarap sa gitna ng pandemya? And walang katuturan, no? Parang there's uncertainty. So how can you still dream in the middle of uncertainty? There's pandemic, there's drug war all around you, high domestic violence, hunger, everything in Payatas. It's the largest garbage site in the Philippines, Ego. So, you know, the women were crying. I was there crying with them the whole day, defining their dream, defining their hope. So basically, Elvin, this is a frustration how to transform mindset. Because, you know, you feel like, okay, here are seeds, here are the technologies how to do it. But then if the mindset is not willing, it will not going to happen. But the biggest joy, when these women started dreaming, the second batch, they started recruiting more women. Now we have 200 women in Payatas. We have 3 farms. Miss Susan, please come. We have OFW that they recruited. They lost their jobs in the Middle East during the pandemic. Now they are the first model of OWA and Land Bank. They won 1 million. So now they are the largest distributor of rice in Payatas. They distribute 300 sacks of 50 kilos of rice. It's a retailer. Thank you so much. In Payatas. And now these women, because of this frustration, how to transform mindset, now we have 45 Garden of Hope sites all over the Philippines. So our women in Payatas, we put them on the plane. They train women in Siargao, they train women in Bacolod. It's their first time to ride a plane. And they're so excited and afraid at the same time. So this is what's caused me joy. You know, when a woman, ma'am, nasa boarding area na po ako, paano po ito? Paano ako akyat ng plane, ma'am? Baka uwi na lang ako sa Payatas kasi I don't know how to go to the plane. Hindi, you can make it to Bacolod because you have 300 women to be trained in Bacolod. You know, so this is also a joy the frustration you turn into joy, that's actually making me alive every single day, despite challenges. Thank you.
Just in the interest of time, okay? One word answers, okay? What's your greatest, or one or two words, okay? Greatest frustration and greatest joy, okay? In this field. Ben, greatest joy. 2-3 words.
Mahirap na yung question, mas mahirap pa yung answer.
Okay.
Convincing people.
Convincing people.
Convincing people.
And joy?
My joy really is experiencing more of nature.
More of nature. Thank you, Ben. How about you, Ego? Greatest joy in your work?
Yeah, I think before the joy, I was very frustrating. Every time I go to the rural area, see women's in the trading, searching for water because the water scarcity. But after we working with the community to restore their water sources, that's my joy. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Wally, greatest frustration?
Okay. I'm not into sales. I'm corporate affairs. So I'll start with the greatest joy. Being part of the stories that we hear today. I think across the different organizations I've been a part of, it's always heartening to hear the inspirational stories from these three groups that we've heard today. The frustrating part is seeing that not many of these stories really get out. That's why we were talking with Bernadette earlier about how can we really push for the stories that we hear today more out there, including the things that the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation is doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Wally. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I will be asking the audience as well, a question later, but let me ask the panel first. You talked about permaculture, and many of your best practices are for people that are in farms, people that have land. Many of us live in the suburbs, in the city. Is there one best practice that maybe you can share with us that we can do while living in condominiums and in smaller spaces that maybe we can do when we start getting home? And maybe I'm going to ask you guys what you're going to do randomly, okay? That you can start doing as well to help conserve water or to help be more of a permaculture youth in terms of this. So, Ben, I'll start with you.
The three ethics of permaculture: earth care, people care, and fair share. So that really summarizes what permaculture is, right? It doesn't mention anything about land, right? So, and if you look closely at those three ethics, all of these SDGs that keeps on increasing like every 5 years, yata, I think, all of those can be summarized in those three ethics. So, if we be mindful about the way we live and we live by those three principles, we can really live in accordance with the principles of permaculture. It can be as simple as like, nakita kang basura, pulutin mo. If you're somebody who loves coffee like me, when you go to the coffee shop, bring your reusable cup. Be mindful of how we negatively impact the environment. Being care for people, right? These are like how nature intended it to be.
It's wonderful.
Right.
Thank you. Be mindful. I think that's such a great advice. Sherry?
I have a little balcony here in Makati, and I grow my own food basically. So I have 16 different kinds of vegetables in my little balcony. So it's container gardening, if you say no. So, and then I do layer. I bought from whatever the hagdan, the stairs where I could put and maximize my space. So I grow my own lettuce, kale, calamansi. I even have aloe vera. I have 16 different kinds of vegetables in my balcony. So it's not easy. People would say, oh, you need to have green thumb to plant. No, you don't. You need to care, because agriculture requires nurturing. If you don't know how to water that plant, how to check that plant every day, it will definitely not going to flourish, right? And second one, I connected to mental wellness. You know, I do decisions every day running the supply chain, and but every time I see my plants, I name all my plants, and then I talk to them because I live alone, Miss Susan. So I always talk to my plant. Hello, lovely. Hello, Sheila. Hello, Carol. You know, so imagine I have 16 friends when I go to my balcony. I have Carol, I have Stella, I have Gingay, I have Ruth. You know, so I name them some with my friends. And then I have Ching, I have Jan. So I name my plants so that every day these are like my allies. And it's so fun. You just need to do your own fun. And then I think a cute one is start with your own vegetables. That's, you know, your favorite vegetable. Because when it's your favorite vegetables, it gives you motivation to challenge yourself to grow it. Thank you.
Yeah, my advice is for us to appreciate, giving our appreciation to the nature, because without the nature, we all won't be live today. So the reason why I'm saying that because when I was childhood in the forest during the occupation, I saw many people that cannot cope with the bush food. So many people get poisoned of food. But because of I learned a lot from my mom, my mother taught me a lot about which food can be eatable. So this is very important. So today, I still living today and sitting here because of I learned from my mother and I learned from the nature. The nature is the biggest teacher for us. Thank you.
Okay, again, not the expert, so just from my personal vantage point. Just a quick FYI, when I reacted, before I reacted, the Permatil Global Phase Tube was 6.9. When I check now, it's now 7,000. So already you guys already helped. So I will just take up on what Sir Ben mentioned about being mindful. We don't have the same background. We don't have the same abilities. We come from different regions in the country. We can contribute in different ways. But it's all about being mindful of where we are and how we live. So if you're living in a condo, you're using up this amount of energy with the elevator, with your aircon, fine. You're not able to name your plants or you can't grow your plants like I do. There are probably other ways that you can contribute to make all of these things, what they're doing, what we're sharing with you today, even more sustainable. And I think it starts with being mindful of how we live.
Thank you. Thank you, Wally. So if I could just ask everyone also, just to Wally's point, for you to take a look at in your Instagram, Fairwater MNL, that's Fairwater Manila. I would like to invite everybody after the session today to please go to, it's the third floor, right, Joy? Ano ba tayo? Second. We're going down to the second floor. We're in the third floor. We're going down to the second floor. This exhibit was especially curated by Oxford University. And at the same time, there are some things about the Philippines. We were hoping there was going to be more, but I think they're going to be putting it in the Fairwater Manila site. But it's very, very informative that I hope that you ask your friends, your relatives to come see it. It's going to be on until the end of August. And it is such a great, insightful exhibit. So we're looking forward to seeing you all there later. So if you can go to our Fairwater Manila and just like it, maybe you can put your comments as to what you learned today or what you're going to do. Moving on, if there's anything that you learned, we would greatly appreciate it. But before we leave, is there anybody that's bold and confident enough this morning to share maybe one or two things that you're going to do after leaving our session today? Because we're just not about inspiring and interconnecting, we're also about igniting action. That's our third I, igniting action. So anyone of our young people here who might, Cecile, can you share?
Oh, well, since we talked about saving water a while ago, And currently, it's already the rainy season. So at home, we know Filipinos have yung mga drum, yung drums. Yeah. And we can catch rainwater. So we can save the water we use from our faucets. We can use that rainwater to wash our garages, to ano pa ba? Like to wash our toilets and to water our plants and stuff like that. So yeah, that's one thing that we can do immediately at home.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea, Cecile. So let's catch rain water because I'm sure we're going to get a lot of it shortly here in Manila. Anyone else? Over here, yes. Janelle, thank you. Wait, hold on, Janelle. Here.
Hi, I'm Janelle from the Philippine Women's University. I think one of the things we can do as individuals is consuming less. I think one of the problems we have here on Earth is that we consume a lot of resources. We, like, for example, for fashion, we buy a lot of clothes that we don't usually regularly use. I think one of the easiest way is to consume less, like to be content to what we have, to what we own, to what we consume, so that we don't take too much from the earth. And I think consumption is also one of the problems that we have here. Like we consume too much goods wrapped in plastic. So these plastics pollute the earth. They don't really degrade. They just turn into like microplastics, which in itself is it pollutes the water resources that we have. So I think it's one of the easiest way we can do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janelle. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. With that, anyone else might want to react? One more. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Sofia Grace Del Cruz from University of Makati, and I am also a volunteer for animal welfare in my university, and also based on experiences from field trips, free from the local government. We have visited Mount Puro, which is our Antipolo city, where near the mountain plains we have planted trees there and also learn a lot from the community there. And one thing that I've learned in this seminar is that every person in our today's future, which is our youth, which is me, also, one of the things is that disciplines can ignite other peoples and also peers. From the simple trash, we can recycle and also we can be sustainable as well. And from our help, we can make a better community. And also from water irrigation and in other ways, like rainwater is also polluted na rin. So, hindi na din siya masyado masustain until filtration. Ang filtration natin is by using rocks to gain proper knowledge, to filter out that rain, and also can be used again.
Thank you. Diane?
For me, it's basically back to basic. Less chemical, the way we eat, more chemicals on our health. We have a lot of cancers because of the chemicals. So let's be be mindful of what we eat, what we grow in our vegetables or in the country. So, and also the technology, it's too much. That's polluted our minds. That's back to basic.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Oh, we have more. Okay, Bernadette.
Hi, everyone. I guess ang realization ko, we don't know how important water is until wala na. No? I experienced this when I went to Tacloban because it was very scarce. We didn't have water available because of Yolanda. Alala ko doon, sobrang yung bottled water na hawak-hawak namin. Sobra talagang parang ginto Oo, parang ginto talaga dahil alam mong walang access sa water. And we know of these stories, we've seen it on TV. Pero bakit pa natin hihintayin na umabot doon when we see the problem right in front of us? So after that experience in Tacloban, sobra na akong maingat sa tubig dahil alam ko kung gaano kahirap ng walang tubig. So I hope if we have that little experience of having that little water available, let's keep that in our minds and in our hearts whenever we try to use water and share the stories. Yun yung magagawa natin moving forward.
Thank you so much. Go ahead. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning. I am Mr. Decano, a university lecturer from Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila. Maybe one of the things that we can contribute in the academe is put it into action plans or research which is not just a piece of paper or aalikabukin lang yung research or action plans. We're looking, especially we are from College of Humanities and Social Sciences, both of us here, we are two. We're looking or we want to create at least something that is visible in the community, that we can at least little help that we can do. And we're trying to create many years, especially in PLM, where research, we don't want add a piece of paper, but we want to change the community through action plans or research paper. And these insights or valuable knowledge that we gain here, I think it is something that we can do and we can teach, especially we are handling different departments like engineering and so on. Little by little, we can at least incorporate, specifically in the subjects that we're teaching like ethics and the contemporary world. Because a while ago, Sir Ego mentioned different things that is visible in the community. Lalo sa Philippines, we are an agricultural country, relying more on different products tapos on the side of water. So maybe yun lang, we're looking at the possible action plans and hoping that we can present it in the international or in local para at least magkaroon ng partnership or collaboration, because that's what we want in PLM. Not just an excellent work, but a transformative one which can help the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this is exactly what we all want, okay? Whether it's PIM, it's ABS-CBN Foundation, it's Ayala Foundation, Ramon Magsaysay, we are all doing the same thing. So please take a look at the room. Hopefully you don't leave here without a new friend, a new connection, a person that you can continue to have a conversation with about, conservation of water, about using water obviously as a resource for more people, making it into a human right, that at this point in time, every single person in the Philippines, in Asia, and in the world deserve, clean water. So whatever we can do, let's keep the conversation going. We're here for the next 10 more weeks, okay, 10 more Saturdays. So please come again, bring your friends, and like us on Facebook, join us at Fair Water Manila. And now I think the next, part of the program is bringing you to the exhibit. So again, on behalf of Asian Development Bank, the Oxford University, Ayala Foundation, and Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, of course, our sponsor for today, NutriAsia. Maraming salamat po. Obrigado. And we look forward to having you all again next week. Go ahead.
Before we officially close today's forum, we are once again honored by Mr. Ego's generosity as he shares with us one last song. an inspiring call to action to work together, conserve our resources, and build a more sustainable future. Mr. Lemos, please take it away. Everyone, we will invite you to stand so that we can listen and enjoy the song of Mr. Lemos.
Yeah, I would like to thank especially the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation, to ADB and all the sponsor that sponsored this event, and especially to all of you who attend this session today. So the last song, that song I wrote back in 2010. It's an English song. It's called "Let's Fix the Earth." So you can sing with me. Come on, let's fix the earth. Come on, let's fix the earth. So that's the chorus. Come on, let's fix the earth. 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 Every living thing on the same earth, all human beings on the same earth. It's the only earth we are living now. Let us create sustainable living. Come on, let's fix the earth. 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 Come on, everyone, act locally, make good impact for globally. Together we can fix our earth. Together we can save our earth. Okay, come on, everyone. Come on, let's fix the earth. 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 One more. Come on, let's fix the earth. 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 I want to hear a voice. Come on. Come on, let's fix the earth. Come on, let's fix the earth. Thank you very much, everyone.